One of the
Yeah.
I think about this part of your story sometimes, like independently. If I have the number right, you served 56 days. And there was whatever, it's incalculable, 7 by 8 cinder blocks, which is 56 cinder blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And you like counted them off one by day, like this wall represents my term.
Entire stay.
And I'm just working my way over and I can visually see like half, this is how much of my term, this is how much. And I don't know, something about that burned into my consciousness, like as a way to measure your progress or visually. It,
Yeah, it was helpful to be able to visualize the days I had left in prison because there were two ways to do it. For the longest time, I had to do it like you're talking about, this long linear line where I could look at the end of the block and see, you know, you're sitting there doing nothing a lot, just reading.
but even if it's 20% done, you can see like, ooh, that's
But
progress.
but you can't visualize that number in shapes. Your brain's not capable of it. But once you get down to about maybe a dozen, then I can do the wall right in front of me, and I can do a 4 by 3 block, and I can be like 4 days 3 times, or maybe it's easier, or maybe it seems easier to do 3 days 4 times. You start
or
doing.
only 12 days once.
I swear,
6 days twice. Work with me, boys.
when you're sitting there all day, for 12 hours, you're just like you're doing all the different ways to divide 12. And then but then
There's
at the
not a
same time
lot.
and you're looking at the clock and you're like, oh, 3 more hours, then it's 10 days, 2 days later, obviously. And then all the ways you can, that 10 is divisible, yeah, very frustrating, very
I
frustrating.
think you came out of prison more cultured, more well-read.
Oh yeah, I definitely more well read. I really hit the classics.
So you read your books because that was what was allowed. Do you think if audiobooks were allowed, that would have made you stay nicer? Or
Yeah,
reading?
yeah,
Yeah.
probably so, because I had a nice headset. I had a headset similar to this. I had some Sennheisers or something in there. I would have probably preferred to have listened because I could have like closed my eyes and lied back in the bunk rather than sort of sitting up all the time,
Mm-hmm.
reading, actually reading. But I didn't mind so much. It probably took me. It definitely takes me longer to read a book than to listen to a book, I would think. I don't know,
What my
actually.
struggle would, my vision's not as good as yours, and it would have taken more stress, workload. Like I'm having a hard time articulating why it's an effort to read for a long time.
Sure. Yeah. I would read for 3 or 4 hours at a time, and then take a break. And I just break the day up in little blocks. Makes it easier.
Yeah. Yeah, hope to never have to deal with that.
You'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Go in, get in shape.
Yeah. You're going.
Yeah.
You're going.
Check your P.O. box, Taylor.
It's
What?
It's like those people who are like, I'll never eat an oyster, and you're like, someday you'll try one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like trying
You're
oysters, going to
trust
fucking
me.
prison.
I worry
Aware
about
of
it. I don't even do anything bad. I'm like I never even like flirt with the edges of doing bad things. But I'll sit there watching like advice videos from Lockup 23 and 1. You're like, all right, definitely don't look at anyone else's cell when you walk by. I learned that.
I certainly did not.
Yeah, you were that. See, I think that's an area where
I
you're
could
better
tell.
than me.
I could tell. I was like, because I didn't like when people looked at my cell. I was
Mhm.
like, the fuck? You don't know if I'm in here naked, dude.
the fuck? Hey, you looking at my state issued bed?
Are you looking in it? No. You're looking in at everything that man possesses. You're looking. You might as well just like walk down the street and open his fucking bedroom door and look in there. You don't know what could be going on in there, and it might be something that you don't want to see. And even worse case, it might be something he doesn't want you to see, and you don't know who he is. Maybe somebody else is in that cell doing something that you don't need to know about, that you don't want to know about. There could easily be a guy who doesn't normally stay in that cell hiding drugs or a weapon or a cell phone in there. And now he knows that you know about it now. And it doesn't matter if you rat him out or not. Maybe he gets caught 2 days later just by happenstance. You could easily get the shit beaten out of you. You could get labeled as a rat, as an informant. You don't look in there. Just be on the safe side. Just don't fucking look anybody's cells.
Kyle's right, obviously. But Taylor, I'm asking you. I put you in prison for 8 years. You go 8 years with a perfect never look record?
If it means not getting the shit beaten out of me, yes, I'm Mr. Look Forward.
If it means not getting the shit out of me, I'll give myself a probably.
Head on a swivel, not this guy. Straight ahead.
I would look
showers.
straight ahead. I would look at the far end, and I would use my peripheral to make sure I wasn't going to get bump into anybody. And if people would usually greet me as I walk past, then I would, acknowledge them. But I never looked at it.
I know your tricks. And there's like just run by.
Yeah.
Kyle been acting weird.
Notice he won't even look at you. I think he's hiding something.
Let's beat his ass.
I'm not sure if he's a child molester or a rat. Maybe both.
See, no, that seems like what you said was the big winning combo is find out about a child molester in there or someone who was looking at kiddie porn and then find common ground with people over that. Be like, did you hear about that guy who's way worse than me or you? Yeah, I hate him too.
That's what I did in jail. Like when I was in county jail, but that was only like 3 or 4 days, was like immediately like me and the other prisoners bonded over the fact that we're in here for like petty drugs. And maybe there was a guy in there for like some petty theft. That guy's a fucking child molester. And like, I'm going to get out in 3 days. I'm not going to do anything, but I'll be part of the conversation. Because we're all sitting there and just like looking at him. And they're like, I don't like that. And in my head, I'm like, nobody likes that, dude. Nobody fucking likes that. They're the most hated people.
You're so brave yet courageous.
Yeah, right. But I don't say that. I'm like, yeah, I don't like it either. And he's like, I think I'm gonna do something. I'm like, good.
I think I'm gonna watch you do it. Yeah,
I think I'm gonna watch you do it. Child molesters are definitely the bottom rung of prison society. Of course, there were no convicted child molesters where I was staying at.
Just suspected chomos.
Yes, there were people who were under suspicion of perhaps being child molesters, but it took very little to make you to bring that upon you in some instances.
Well, the lesson learned.
I'm just not at all confident in my ability to thrive in this environment, Kyle.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna kill you.
You did great, and I'm proud of you.
I could just see you, like I think you do well for like 6 weeks, a month, maybe a year, and then there just be that little misunderstanding where you're, just like is there anything else?
I knew that was coming. Circling back to the waitress.
You're just a little rude, but you don't even realize you're being rude, and now there's a chink. A chink.
Chink in the armor. Now they can get you.
No, not a chink.
No. That's a word for shank.
That's what my Mexican friend called a shank. Called it a chank.
Kyle arranged several bodyguards through charm and charisma.
I did what I could to stay alive, and a virgin.
Those were his priorities, and not in that order.
Not in that order. Yeah, not at all.